Unique Moon, and today I want to discuss embodied sensuality, but very specifically, I want to talk about the devil's music. Black American music being coined as the devil's music within the scope of racism and just the sheer dismissal of erotic power and sensuality. So, with that, I want to share a bit on my experience with sensual embodiment, being embodied in sensuality. And currently in my life, I am going through the unimaginable. My place as a mother, as a Black liberated mother, my place as a mother is being threatened. So I find myself, anytime I'm thinking about that, I'm thinking about my experience. My stomach turns into knots. My heart races. So my anxiety is on a completely different level than it has ever been right now. And so I had a moment, and I got off from work one day last week, and I needed something that felt good to me. I needed to be stimulated in a way that it feels really good. And so a lot of times that's loud music. That is loud music. I got in my car and my music had automatically connected to the speaker, and it was Bun B's Get Throwed. And so if you've heard that song, if you haven't, listen to it, but it has a very nice deep, low frequency kind of bass to it. And I'm in a state of war, to be honest. To be frank, this is war right now. And so with that, I felt the bass of the music, and I wanted to accompany my appreciation for what I was hearing and for what I was feeling, the heaviness in the music. I wanted to accompany that with prayer. And so I began to speak on my favor, talking with the divine and affirming my favor, affirming who I am as a person to strengthen my spirit, And with that, I took the time to pay attention, especially on the exhale as I'm praying and I'm paying to my breath. I kind of swirled the breath around and around in my belly, and I made sure that I relaxed my pelvic floor. So I relaxed my vaginal walls, and I just let the breath and the voice and the bass from the music vibrate and move through my body. And what I noticed, that with me focusing on the breath in my belly from the words that I'm speaking and connecting that to my belly, this relaxation that occurs in my pelvic floor and my vagina opened me wide open. And it felt as if someone was touching my cervix. It felt as if something, or even myself, was just caressing my body and giving myself this much needed comfort. And this is really good for those who are struggling with touch. If you are struggling and you are needing touch from another person, in the meantime, you can touch yourself. You can touch yourself. Feel empowered to touch yourself using your breath, using your words. This is the marriage between spirituality and sexuality. And be empowered to engage with yourself in that way. And so I mentioned the devil's music, and with that bass and the song, those vibrations, I will liken it to being pounded. And I don't like to I don't like to use aggressive words to describe the act of intercourse, sexual intercourse. I'd rather not use those heavy words. However, y'all know exactly what I'm talking about, okay? You know what I'm talking about. If you like being penetrated, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and it is a pounding, okay? So, with the breath, with the prayers, with the bass of the music vibrating through my body, and I feel my cervix, I feel my pelvic floor open up, I'm also feeling that pounding from the music, okay? And this is why they would call our music the devil's music, okay? Of course, it don't have to be all of that every time. And I think that that's the beautiful thing about sensuality in particular, is that it looks different, and it looks different in each place. So my sensuality when I'm around my children is going to look different from my sensuality as I'm here sitting in the forest while I'm by myself talking to you. It's going to look different. But in this instance, I want to focus on that raw, erotic power. Like, no children allowed. I want to focus on that. I want to focus on that as a means to keep us whole. And so with that, you begin to understand why they call Black American music the devil's music. Those drums, the heavy bass in those drums, those low frequencies of those drums mirror the low frequency of the earth. And I love to remind y'all this, but once again, we have to acknowledge how low of a vibration the earth gives. So anytime we're communing with the drums in any way, in any capacity, we're connecting with the earth, and we're connecting with the root of our bodies. That bass is doing exactly what we expect it to do. It's doing exactly what it's intended. It's literally touching the root chakra. So that is my sermon about the devil's music and our marriage with sensuality within the devil's music. And if you're having a hard time understanding the correlation between what I'm talking about, having self-pleasure with music and lovemaking with another person, how they correlate. Because think about if you're with somebody who is not well endowed, or someone who's not working with a whole lot. Even if you're someone who likes them more on the smaller side, you're still able to receive the highest level of pleasure that you can reach. I mean, I'm sure there's more heights to it. There's always levels, but you're still able to go. Your pleasure is still able to shoot through your brain. It's still able to be cerebral, and the reason why is because of the impact between you and your lover's hips. Okay, that is how the drums. That is the capacity of the drums and that heavy bass sound. It has the capacity to do that to your body. That's how they correlate. And I think that is inherently why colonizers had such a difficult time accepting the drums. That's why they created laws around the drums. They made it illegal. Like, there was literally laws where, as Black people, we were not allowed to work with our drums. And yeah, it's definitely for sure why. So thinking about this and thinking about the impact that the drums has on the body, this is why they would call it our music the devil's music. The drums has a very low vibration, and so does the earth. And there is a correlation between the earth and our root, so our genitalia and that root chakra area. That is an earthy place. That is an earthy place. And so that is what the drums speak to. So of course they're gonna call it the devil's music. It just awakens. Even if, you know, I think like with pleasure is so complex because, you know, it's one thing. It's two completely different things to like shake your ass at a family function versus shaking your ass like at the club. It's two completely different things, but somehow it's very fluid, and it's like we all know the difference between the two. And I think that colonizers, people who descend from colonizers, have a hard time understanding that. And that is why they go through these great lengths to suppress the erotic, to suppress sensuality, because they don't know how to process what they're feeling in their body. And I think for us, it's just a simple act of saying yes to your pleasure and allowing yourself to feel. And so if I wasn't, I can only imagine my state of being if I didn't drop, when I clocked out from work and I got in my car. I can only imagine how my state of being if I had not made the decision to drop down into my body with my breath and my belly and my cervix and the music. If I have to make those connections. You should always be trying to relate to your environment, and it is there's no structure to it. You just do it. Because again, this is not a practice that I did on purpose. I didn't say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I was just like, you know, I need something. And I just knew that my breath and the music would be of sustenance to me. And so yeah, that is my sermon about the devil's music and the drums and the earth and all of the goodness of being in your body and what that can look like. And just remember that being embodied is very physical. It is a physical practice. You have to act on it, okay? This is not something where you need to be idle. Before I go, I want to share that I do, if listening to me speak about this practice, if it lands in your body in the way that it has landed in my body, I actually have a manual called Erotic Belly Rituals, and it includes 5 rituals that are centered around the primordial energy of our bellies. This is our first brain, our first space of nurturance. And I'm not speaking on some like new age shit. I mean, this is a literal science. And so erotic belly rituals will hold you, and it is my intention that it sparks your own curiosity and how you relate to your body, but especially in this case, how you relate to your belly and how you can derive and create and play around with pleasure. And I'm gonna post the link in the description or in the comment section or in the bio. And I want y'all to go and check it out. Thank you.